Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on getting your business visible on Google. My name is David Syme. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced digital marketing specialist, as well as having a background in digital marketing and social media. Now, we're excited to be delivering this webinar today in partnership with the Wellbeing Focus Forum. So today we welcome guests. That we've invited, that have been invited to join this Google Digital Garage training. I'm now going to read out a short introduction on behalf of the new futures before we start. Female Founders is a community of women running their own businesses in and around Warwickshire. Founded by the Wellbeing Focus, the Female Founders community come together to learn, train, support, and share experiences. So today we're going to be talking about getting your business visible on Google. Now, before we start, I'd just like to introduce you to our moderator today, Glenn. Now, Glenn is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering some of your questions via the instant chat over to the right there. Now, you can identify him not only by his name, but also the little blue spanner next to his name. Now, just before we start, I just wanted to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you're having any trouble viewing the webinar right now, just try refreshing your page. That will solve about 99% of problems that you might encounter, okay? If you'd like to join the instant chat today, you will need a YouTube account, but you can really easily set one of those up by clicking in the box again over on the right there. Now, we'll be pausing throughout the session to answer some of your more complex questions from the chat box, but please feel free to fire away with any of your questions throughout the whole session, and they'll be relayed to me. Just to let you know, we're running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broader offering of courses. So if you'd like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, then have a look at the information on this in the description below. That'll link you through to our website where all of our training is available. So that's the housekeeping done. Let's get started with getting your business visible on Google. This course is aimed at helping you to get to grips with your visibility on Google and to ensure that you can help your customers that are searching for your products and services online to find you. So we normally split these sessions up into 3 sections to make them easier to follow. So we're going to be starting out with saying, how is it that customers are actually finding your business online? The various different ways that they can find you online, and there's many. And then we're going to be showing you how to build up your presence, not only in Google search engine, but also in things like Maps, which allows people to find local businesses, particularly on mobile phones. Then finally, we're going to be looking at optimizing your visibility on Google, and that is to say, when people find you, what do they see? What's going to make them click on your listing on Google or on Maps rather than somebody else's? Now, we obviously hope you find this webinar helpful today, but we also wanted to let you know that if you work for a small business or charity in the UK, which many of you I'm sure do, you can now sign up for free one-to-one mentoring sessions from Google. Now, like I said, these sessions are completely free and they can help you on a range of digital skills where you might need support, from building a strategy to finding more customers online, to anything that you in particular might find tricky, or even at the end of today, you might want to know a little bit more about. So you can sign up really easily for this. You just book a session at g.co/UK mentoring. Glenn's going to put that in the chat for you, okay, the link, so you can follow that one. And I'll be repeating this at the end if you don't have a pen and paper handy, okay? So here's some facts about the online marketplace, particularly in terms of people making their decisions about where to purchase and what to purchase. As it says here, 3 out of 4 online customers use a search engine to find a business. 3 out of 4. Now, many of you might remember the days where Yellow Pages was the way that you would find businesses, and Yellow Pages used to be a huge big thing. It was a strength test for strongmen to be able to tear one in half. It's got smaller and smaller over the years, and now it's a pamphlet, if even being delivered at all. That's because so many people have switched over to searching online, particularly as they can easily use one of these things in order to do it whenever or wherever they are. 82% of smartphone users reported routinely conducting local mobile searches. Now, that's important because people want services, shops and products and so forth that are convenient for them. And also, the way that search engines work, first of all, Google, but also things like Bing and Yahoo, is that on mobile, when you search on them, it will automatically bring up the local results. But what we're talking about here is actually 82% of people actually adding into their search terms near me, like bakers near me or shoe shop in my area. These are also considered to be local searches. And they'll also use the geographic proximity detection on the phone where it knows where it is to find the results that are nearest to you when you're doing that search. That can really work to your advantage in terms of cutting out competition from further afield. So how do customers find you? Well, our search and shopping behavior has really changed thanks to the internet and, as I mentioned, the smartphone. We're here to really drive local customers and to our businesses. So let's kick off with getting in the right mindset of those customers that we want to engage with. I want you to think about this from the perspective of your customers. So what I'd like you to do right now is be a customer. I want you to pull out your smartphone and imagine that you're on the hunt for pizza locally. Pizza tends to be something that we get obviously delivered to us, so we're not going to be searching for the next town over. We're probably going to want something that's local. We want it to arrive hot after all. So I want you to use whatever search terms you want in order to find a pizza in your area and any other terms that you think would help solve this problem. Do it now. Now, once you've done this, you're probably already at the stage where you're seeing results. I want you to mentally choose one of the choices that comes up on your phone screen. You don't need to click it. Just mentally select the one that stands out to you, the one that you're thinking, yeah, I would click that first. Now, I want you to keep in mind why. Why would you select that one? Now, I want you guys to engage in the chat today. I would rather that we're talking with each other than I'm talking at you. I think this will be a lot more useful if we do that. So I want you to go into the chat and tell me, what search terms did you use? And if you chose one, why did you select that one? So I'll wait. In fact, I'm going to do the same thing. In my case, I'm going to do, let's see, I know where I live. So I live in Anniesland in Glasgow. So I'm going to say pizza Anniesland. Everybody does this differently. I'm seeing a bunch of results, the top of which is Domino's, but I'm not so fond of that. So I'm going to keep going down. There's a lot of advertised ones. There's a lot of ones that have got star ratings. And here we go. The Chip Chicken has got a 4.3 star rating, which is the highest in my area. So I'm going to click on that one. And there we go. And it's on Google Local Businesses. So Elizabeth, you've said pizza, the simplest one. That's good. And that's working in the assumption that your phone knows that it's going to bring up the ones that are nearest to you. Kerry, you've said, let's see, pizza Leamington Spa. I chose a particular one because I already know it's great. Good. Because we go for the ones that we're most familiar with. We'll come back to that in a minute. Anybody else got any other ones? Kaylee, thank you. Let's see, we got pizza. You just said pizza. And then images look fresh and filled with toppings. So you went for the visual side of things. Really important. We are very, very visual creatures, particularly online, because while in the real world out there, we use all of our senses, smell and touch and taste and, everything like that. Online, you're only really limited to sight and sound. And when you're searching for things, it's predominantly sight. Now, we do kind of eat with our eyes. That's a horrible image. But we do respond to images of food in a way that we will automatically respond to food images online. So for food, it's really important to have good images. Hannah Stanley, you said pizza delivery near me. There we go. And then your phone asked to use your location. So you chose the one that you use. Very good. Because sometimes your phone will automatically use your location. And in some cases, that won't be by default switched on. And it will ask you for that purpose to use location to find the nearest one. Sadia said, fast pizza delivery near me. Very good. So you've got qualifiers there that say, I want it to be fast, I want it to be near me, and then your phone does the rest, particularly with near me. And then Adam, you said Pizza Rica and Rabat. So evidently you have a specific one that you want to go with, that you've gone with before, which again harks back to what Kerry was saying earlier, that she chose one that she actually knows. Fantastic. Good answers. Right, let me take you through what that tells us, okay? So it might be a familiar feeling searching for a product or service through your trusted device, but these behaviors are almost habitual to us now. So let's discuss these behaviors. What I want you to tell me is, what search engine or platform did you use? So did you use Google? Did you use Bing? What one did you use? I, in my case, used Google, but then again, I am, representing Google today, so I would do that, but there are other search engines. In fact, if you were in China, you would probably use something like Baidu. Some people would even use a social media channel like Facebook in order to find it. So what did you use? And once you were presented with the results, what factors would have affected the listing that you've chosen? Now, we've already heard that they're ones that you've used before, they're ones that are nearby to you, they're ones that have got really good images, or the ones that you know are great. But what other things might have affected your decision? So a lot of you have said Google. That's good to hear. But it is the most popular search engine, so it makes sense. And in terms of what made you make the decisions, what was that? We're actually seeing that some of you have used Ecosia, which is good to know. Well, the point that I'm making here, and keep your answers coming in, okay, just because I'm talking on doesn't mean that I'm not going to read them out, okay? So the point is that you need to make sure that your smartphone is, well, you need to be aware that people's smartphone is in many cases the device of choice when they're searching for products locally. And we're influenced by things like reviews and ratings and photos. And we always yearn for more information, more descriptive listings. Ratings are a really good one, star ratings in particular. In fact, I'm seeing this from you here. Kerry has said good reviews. Jamera has said star rating, and Elizabeth has said local business reviews. So you see, reviews are really important. And some people will say, yep, and there we go. Sadie has also said reviews. Jerome has said location, yeah, nearest location. And Kaylee, you've said ratings as well. So there you go. So ratings is really important. And some people are afraid of putting ratings up or putting reviews up in case they get a negative one. But the fact is that if you were to look at a list of different options that were in your area, and 5 out of 6 of them had star reviews, even 3 or 4 star reviews, and one of them didn't have any reviews at all, would you choose the one that had no reviews at all? Probably not. So it's important to go for that. Now, we can see the importance that a more descriptive listing can bring to your presence. Customer search behavior has changed due to the rise of mobiles, as I mentioned, and we're becoming more reliant on these devices to get access to products and services online, and especially ones that are nearby, as we were just talking about. So we as people have a higher expectation from businesses to supply this kind of information. The process almost kicks off with a search through a device, more commonly mobile, as mentioned, and it's all about curiosity. So we're actually changing the way that we ask questions. We expect to get useful advice and answers from the web, and Google sees 15% of unique queries, unique search terms every day. You would think we would have run out of ways to ask for things by now, but every single day we're seeing at least 15% of new, completely unique searches, and these tend to be longer and more descriptive as time goes on. We almost treat Google and other search engines as if we're talking to a person, whereas before we might have just said the word pizza. Now we'll say, can you find me pizza in my area? Particularly with the advent of voice search on your home devices like Alexa or Google Home or your phone itself, where you can just touch the microphone and just ask it a question, we tend to be a bit more conversational. The decision process is next, and that's where we critically assess the listings that are presented to us, either through Google search or Maps, or really any other platform, as I mentioned, like Facebook, that you can see the results, who they are, what ratings they've got, and where they are. So customers are very demanding. We expect more personalized results that are right for us, such as local results. And we look closely at differentiators such as reviews and ratings, as we've just seen there. The final part, after we've made the search and made the selection, is about engagement. So we expect to be able to get what we need right now, and that know that the ability to contact the business is clear, right? Where you can contact them, either by phone or by email or whatever. So the rise in open now searches, and that is just to say, saying like bakers that are open now, or local shoe shop that's open now. The rise of those has really taken off beyond the ones that say near me or in my area. So, as shown, customers are more impatient than ever, and we need to support them where they require engagement quickly. But if you're running a business and it's just you can't be expected to be awake 24 hours a day. So, how are we going to do that? Well, we'll take you through that in a minute. So, the age old concept with websites of if you build it, they will come really doesn't ring true today in the online age. You need to be found. And as we've discussed, it starts with the search. It starts with search engines, which is where we start getting into what we call search engine optimization. But before we talk about that, I'm going to give you a very quick video, and that video is going to take you through how Google and other search engines actually work. Because if you understand the sandpit that you're playing in, the playbox that you're playing in, then you can understand the rules, and then you can play by them, and you can get the better results.
Every day, billions of people come here with questions about all kinds of things. Sometimes we even get questions about Google search itself, like how this whole thing actually works. And while this is a subject entire books have been written about, there's a good chance you're in the market for something a little more concise. So let's say it's getting close to dinner and you want a recipe for lasagna. You've probably seen this before, but let's go a little deeper. Since the beginning, back when the homepage looked like this, Google has been continuously mapping the web, hundreds of billions of pages, to create something called an index. Think of it as the giant library we look through whenever you do a search for lasagna or anything else. Now, the word lasagna shows up a lot on the web. Pages about the history of lasagna, articles by scientists whose last name happened to be lasagna, stuff other people might be looking for. But if you're hungry, randomly clicking through millions of links is no fun. This is where Google's ranking algorithms come into play. First, they try to understand what you're looking for, so they can be helpful even if you don't know exactly the right words to use or if your spelling is a little off. Then they sift through millions of possible matches in the index and automatically assemble a page that tries to put the most relevant information up top for you to choose from. Okay, now we have some results. But how did the algorithms actually decide what made it onto the first page? There are hundreds of factors that go into ranking search results, so let's talk about a few of them. You may already know that pages containing the words you search for are more likely to end up at the top. No surprise there. But the location of those words, like in the page's title or in an image's caption, those are factors too. There's a lot more to ranking than just words. Back when Google got started, we looked at how pages link to each other to better understand what pages were about and how important and trustworthy they seemed. Today, linking is still an important factor. Another factor is location, where a search happens. Because if you happen to be in Ormea, Italy, you might be looking for information about their annual lasagna festival. But if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, you probably aren't. When a web page is uploaded is an important factor too. Pages published more recently often have more accurate information, especially in the case of a rapidly developing news story. Of course, not every site on the web is trying to be helpful. Just like with robocalls on your phone or spam in your email, there are a lot of sites that only exist to scam, and every day scammers upload millions more of them. So just because instantvirusdownload.net lists the words lasagna recipe 400 times, that doesn't mean it's going to help you make dinner. We spend a lot of time trying to stay one step ahead of tricks like these, making sure our algorithms can recognize scam sites and flag them before they make it to your search result page. So let's review. Billions of times a day, whenever someone searches for lasagna, or resume writing tips, or how to swaddle a baby, or anything else, Google software locates all the potentially relevant results on the web, removes all the spam, and ranks them based on hundreds of factors like keywords, links, location, and freshness. Okay, good time to take a breath. This last part is about how we make changes to search, and it's important. Since 1998, when Google went online, people seem to have found our results pretty helpful. But the web web is always changing, and people are always searching for new things. In fact, 1 in every 7 searches is for something that's never been typed into the search box before by anyone ever. So we're always working on updates to search, thousands every year. Which brings up a big question. How do we decide whether a change is making search more helpful? Well, one of the ways we evaluate potential updates to search is by asking people like you. Every day, thousands of search quality raters look at samples of search results side by side, then give feedback about the relevance and reliability of the information. To make sure those evaluations are consistent, the raters follow a list of search quality evaluator guidelines. Think of them as our publicly available guide to what makes a good result good. Oh, and one last thing to remember. We use responses from raters to evaluate changes, but they don't directly impact how search results are ranked. So there you have it. Every time you click search, our algorithms are analyzing the meaning of the words in your search, matching them to the content on the web, understanding what content is most likely to be helpful and reliable, and then automatically putting it all together in a neatly organized page designed to get you the info you need. All in, 0.81 seconds? Wow. Anyone else ready for dinner? Interested in learning more? We've got a whole website dedicated to how search works. Just click right here. Want to read the search quality rater guidelines for yourself? Click right here.
There we go. So that should give you a bit more information about the sandpit that you're playing in, and therefore the rules and how the system works, which makes it a lot easier to know what to do next. So if you're not sure when or what people are searching for a product or service that you provide, it can be, if you're not actually there when people are searching for a product or service that you're providing, then it's a missed opportunity. Just like it would be if you were shopping in the bread aisle and there was no bread, or you were looking for shoes and all the shoe shops were closed. So being there is really important, especially when the search is specific and localized, for instance, pizza, Edgbaston. So how do I know if customers are really searching for my products and services online? Well, there's actually a number of tools to help us understand if this is the case. So there's a number of ways to see if potential customers are searching for your products. And here's an example of a tool that I genuinely really like. It's when, I know that people always say that, but I do use this tool a lot. It's called Google Trends. And this tool has pulled together the data on all the search data throughout Google so that you can get a better understanding on how and where people are searching for products and services through Google. So Google Trends, if what you just do is, if you want to actually try this, Clint can put the link for Google Trends into the chat today, and you can have a quick look. And then again, you can do a search for instance, whatever search term you placed in looking for pizza, then just put that in at the top. Now, the cool thing about that is, as you can see here, you can select according to, it says United States there, but you can set United Kingdom or whatever country you're in. You can actually narrow it right down to cities and areas, just using the little drop-down arrow next to it. So you can look for your local area. And then as you can see here, you can actually change the duration that you're looking at. So this one has done it over the past 5 years, but arguably people's behavior has changed a lot during COVID. So maybe over the last 2 years, or maybe over the last 1 year is a good one to do for you. And then you just type in your term and it will show when people are searching, what time of month, what time of year, what time of, you can even narrow it down to day. And if you scroll down, you can actually see in a little map where the searches are primarily occurring. If you're finding that there's not enough information for it to give you results, then you just broaden your search, maybe increase the duration or increase the area, or maybe use a slightly more general term. But it will also show you different versions of your search, like different related searches that people have made and whether or not they are more popular. And then by placing them in the box up here for comparing, you can do that up to 5 times. You can see what the most popular terms are. So sometimes the one that you think is most popular, like high density leather footwear, that might be the technological term that you use for what you're making, but in actual fact, what people are looking, actual customers are looking for is quality shoes. And you'll be able to see which is more popular with people in general. And that can help you to optimize your website or place the right terminology in there for what people are looking for. Also, if you're seeing peaks, as we're seeing here, at certain times of the year or certain times of the month, then you can use your social media or anything which is more current to reach out to people with content that relates to those searches at those times when you know that they're looking for that. Okay. So, for example, with clothes shopping, it's still more popular on, for instance, a Friday or a Saturday online, even though that actually harks back to when we used to shop more in the high street. So we could shop anytime we wanted online, but we still are more prone to doing it on a Friday or a Saturday, which is why you will rarely see sales on an online clothes shop on a Friday or a Saturday, because they know that they're going to get sales anyway. They would put their sales or their flash sales on a Monday, which is a less popular time of day or time of week for this, in order to generate a bit more revenue during those quiet days. So with this, you can base this on real information. So I want you to think of a product or service, search for it in Google Trends, and make sure that the suggestion isn't too specific, as there might not be enough data to show, but keep that link going, okay? Keep that available, because it's a really useful and quite fascinating tool. If you find that you have a market which is potentially international for what you're selling, then use the world instead of United States or UK, okay? And then you can see where the demand really is. And you might find that there's opportunities for selling into countries that you'd never even thought of, or even other parts of the country that you'd never even thought of. And that can really give you an advantage. Okay, so I'm just going to pause and take a couple of your questions that have been coming in, and we've got 3 so far, so that's great. Tana said, what is the big difference between mobile and desktop when it comes to search in terms of the decision and the listing? Okay, well, the difference really is that, as we mentioned before, mobile searches tend to be more local and focused. They also, you've got to work in the assumption that people will generally do their searching first on a mobile. Almost anything that they're searching for, it used to be at least 61% of searches would start on a mobile phone. So it's a really important place to be. And it tends to be at the next stage where people are really sitting down and getting serious about big purchases, houses, cars, insurance policies, that kind of thing, that they'll use a desktop machine. But in terms of what you see in the results, it again tends to be more localized. You'll generally see map listings and so forth on a mobile phone, simply by the fact that a phone knows where it is. It's triangulated according to where the nearest transmitter masts are, whereas your desktop, your laptop, doesn't have quite as clear an idea of where it is in space. It can kind of work out, but not as accurately as a mobile phone can. Now, Shabazz has said, how can I interpret interest over time? For example, what would 100 mean? Right, okay, so what this is, these are called normative search values. So effectively, the most popular search in something like Google Trends, which is what I'm assuming you're referring to here, is going to be 100. Okay, and then everything else is a proportion of that. So if you put in different searches with different popularity, the whole graph's going to look different, because what you're looking at is relational popularity. And that just means to say who is the most popular and by how much. It's not actually giving you numbers. It's not giving you numbers of searches. It's just giving you by a proportion of the most popular being 100%. Who is the next most popular? What is the next most popular? If you want actual numbers, you can use a tool which we will be going into in a minute, called Google Keyword Planner tool, and that will give you actual search numbers. But Google Trends is always a good place to start. Now, Shabazz has said, would there be any way to narrow it down to the time of day? Yes and no. Usually for time of day, you're better off using things called social listening tools. So I want you to type that in. And again, we're going to show you some of these a bit later on. Social listening tools will give you time of day. And if you are using social media, and we have a presentation that we do in social media, it will give you the time of day that certain posts seem to be most popular. But social listening tools on your social media channels, if you're using them, social listening will do that across all the social media channels. And so we'll show you some of these, but one of them is BuzzSumo. There's another one called Senti1. We'll give you links for these. And Hootsuite has actually got a very good social listening system as well. Google Trends, not so much time of day. It tends to be time of year, month, week, that kind of thing. Good questions. Thank you. You're definitely on the right track here. Okay, so where do you build your presence on Google? Well, this is how you can help your local customers find you. And most search engines basically work in the same way. When a person wants to find something, they type in a word or phrase, which we call a search query. Their goal is to create the most relevant list of results possible. That's to say the search engine's goal is to create the most relevant list of results possible, because they want people to go to that search engine. And that means that searchers can find what they're looking for, and the results page will also include, obviously, links to the websites, but you might also see local business listings, items for sale, as we can see here, and advertisements, paid adverts or paid listings, images, maps, videos, and all sorts more. Now, we looked earlier on at the pizza example, and we saw that things like reviews, how local it is, the importance of the images, and things like maps were really important. Also, videos can be really important because if a picture speaks 1,000 words, then a video can speak 1,000,000. The images at the top are the shopping ads promoting products sold online by retailers. Text ads can generally appear below, as we can see here. Ads are paid placements, as I mentioned. Advertisers compete against each other, bidding in a kind of a real-time auction for the opportunity to show their ads on a search results page. It's a faster way to appear at the top of search results pages while you're building your organic search results. Organic search results are the ones that appear in the center and the bottom of the page. And those are the ones that a lot of us look at first. Your next question might be, what words and phrases do people search for, particularly when people are shopping? So again, we can use things like Google Trends, as we were looking at before, to come up with those answers. But there's other ways to do it as well. So again, organic search refers to websites that show up in the search results page that are not paid advertisements. So organic results are matched by the searcher's query, by their search terms, through a ton of algorithms and hundreds of different factors that measure the relevance and authority of the website to the search. Relevance is obviously how relevant it is to your search. Authority is how popular, how well established, and how sticky that website is. That's to say, people arrive there and they stay there, rather than bouncing, which is when they arrive there and they bounce off immediately because it's not what they needed. Higher authority sites tend to be bigger, more established, and people stick to them for longer. Then you've got your business listings. Now, local business listings are online portfolios that contain information about your business, such as your name, your business name, its address, its phone number, its opening hours, and other data. Then we've got paid search, as I mentioned before. Paid search advertising is a marketing method where you pay for your website to appear in the paid advertising sections of the relevant search results pages. The best analogy that I can think of this is that if you wanted to live on apples, one way to live on apples is to plant apple seeds in the ground, and then eventually the apple tree will grow and it will give you free apples for the rest of your life. That's organic search. Whereas while you're waiting for that tree to grow, which is going to take time, you might starve to death for want of apples. So you would go down to the market and you would pay for apples. You want to do both. You want to pay for your apples or pay for your adverts or your AdWords while you're waiting for your organic search results to boost and get up to a level where they can support your business on their own. But they will keep you going in the meantime. And then once you've developed your organic search results, your apple tree is grown, then you no longer need to do that as much or even at all. However, business listings are good because they are so popular. So they are free as well. They're really, really easy to use. And they are just a really effective way to get found, particularly in a mobile phone. So search engine optimization is the practice of increasing the quality and quantity of the traffic to your website through organic search results. It helps your website to show up in the non-paid results. It makes it easier for people to find you when they're searching for what you offer. Google's got more than 200 signals that determine how a page ranks. So some of the most important ones would be part of your search engine optimization program. Content is the key to search engine optimization, what you put on your website pages. So your goal is to include information on your website that helps Google to understand what your business is about. Google search engine's primary goals is to help people to find what they're looking for. So if you can help the search engine to decide that your website is what people are searching for, then you're going to be in good shape. Making improvements to your website to help it appear in organic results is called search engine optimization, or SEO. And that usually involves, obviously, as I mentioned, helping the search engine to find and understand your site, so that when someone visits Google and types in a word or phrase, the search query, a list of relevant results are displayed. As I mentioned before, the organic results appear in the center well of the page, and it's where most people look. And as I say, use things like Google Trends in order to find out what people are actually searching for versus what you think they're searching for. through the related terms that it shows you. Optimizing for success. There's really no shortcut for search engine optimization, just as you can't make an apple tree grow much faster than it ever wants to grow. So there's keyword research, which is discovering what words or phrases people are looking for when they're searching for your products. Usually that starts by just asking your customers. Sometimes you're too close to your business and you'll be using terminology that isn't relevant to them. They'll be using different terminology. So if you're not sure, ask them. Or ask people that you know who could be your customers, even if that's friends or family, and then put those terms into your Google Trends and find out what other terms people are looking for. On-page optimization, or changes that you can make on your website's individual pages, can quickly help the search engines to better understand your content. The title of your web page, which you only get one option for each page, right? You only get one chance of that, are the most important. They're used by the search engine to generate the actual search result for that page because you only get one shot. So that's the most important place where you can put the most regularly used or important keyword or relevant keyword, okay? The meta description is something which you get the option when you're building your website to have a short kind of one paragraph description of what's on that page. That is what appears in the search engine results just under the blue bit which says the title of the page. And that isn't so much used by the search engine, that's used by the actual searchers, the actual individuals who are searching for your products and services. So that one is really important because it helps them to choose to see, okay, that one's relevant to me. So use human language and don't try and stuff keywords into that bit, just make it relevant, okay? So we're becoming kind of research obsessed because it's so easy for us to research for the products and services that we need. We just go onto our phone and we type it or speak it in and we can find out as much as we can. It's really, really super easy. Back in the day, we had to use things like Which Magazine or newspaper reviews or that kind of thing. So now we can do it whenever we want. And people can get really specific with their searches and still have confidence that they're going to get useful information from that search, because there's so many websites and so many businesses out there that you can say, I want green vegan shoes made of leaves, which by the way is a thing. I've got a pair of shoes which are made of leaves that behaves like leather, and you can be fairly confident that that will exist. So here's another example. So yes, people want to learn about the best shoes in general, but there's some very personal and particular ways. So here's a few approaches to mobile searches. First of all, you understand your user's intent. At the heart of every Google search, there's a user with a purchase-related intention, whatever that might be. That might be to find reviews or to find products to buy or to do price comparisons. The list is pretty well endless. One of the best ways to discover more about your user's intent is to look at your own marketing analytics. So Google Ads Keyword Planner, like I'd mentioned before, is a tool which lets you see which keywords, and that's not forgetting the valuable long tail keywords like green leaf-based shoes, but which keywords are being used to find your website. Through analyzing these, you can more deeply understand what your site's audience is looking for and then develop a content strategy to meet and fulfill them. And your content strategy is just what you're going to put in your website and when. Now, long tail keywords, as I alluded to before, are more specific 3 to 5 word phrases that searchers use when they're getting closer to making a purchase. So for example, they might start by searching for the term dining chair because they're just looking at a dining chair. And then once they've done a bunch of research after visiting various websites, they might narrow that down to specific styles and comparison shopping. So it might end up with Eames style contemporary dining chair, or green velvet cushioned dining chair, or mahogany baroque style dining chair, right? That really indicates that they're getting closer to buying because they've clearly done a lot of comparison stuff. Now they're just going, okay, I know exactly what I want. Now it's just who am I going to buy it from? Content crafted and tailored in this kind of responsive way is going to connect the user immediately, or connect with the user immediately. And that's an effective way to increase not only your traffic, but your click-throughs, how many people click on the results that come up on the search engine page. And then the leads, that's the people who are interested in buying or sending you an inquiry. And then the sales and the conversions, which is the people that obviously go from sending an inquiry to actually buying something from you. Okay, all of this is important. So try to make sure that you have content in your website that caters to the generic searches like dining chair, and content that caters to the more specific searches like a specific page for Eames style contemporary dining chair. etc. So Google Search Console is another free service that helps you to monitor and maintain your website in Google search results. It's got two primary functions. It monitors your performance in the Google search results, and it also shows how Google sees your site. So make sure that Google can access your site for a start, and that's how it's done, by having this installed. You can submit new content and remove content that you don't want shown in the search results. So if you have, for instance, a sale page that you just want people to find if they are coming in from a specific social media post or a flyer result, then you can remove that so it doesn't show up in the search engines. And that way you can know how effective that flyering campaign or that social media post was, without it being the water being muddied by people coming in from search engines. It also is really helpful because Google Search Console will actually show problems. It will monitor your site for problems you might not have thought of. Maybe you've accidentally deleted a page and now you've got a broken link, or maybe you've deleted a page and you've got links that are still pointing there. Now, Google and other search engines don't like broken links. They make for bad websites, bad navigation experiences, and they're less likely to send people in the direction of websites with broken links. So Search Console will alert you to that stuff before it even happens, or before it becomes a problem. You can also see reports that tell you which queries, which searches caused your site to appear in search results. So you can see which are the most popular keywords, and also where you're ranking for them. Also, which websites or other websites are linking to your site. If you find that there's a website that's sending a lot of traffic to your site, then you can get in touch with them and say, thanks for that. Can we share more content? Because you know it's generating high value traffic. If your site works well on mobile devices, it will tell you. If it doesn't, it will tell you, and it will tell you why. Maybe you've got great big images on there that are taking ages to download, and you maybe need to put it through an image shrinker, which there's loads of free ones online, in order to speed up your site, because speed is important to mobile searches. Now, data collection for a property starts as soon as the property, being a website, starts as soon as that property or that website is added in any Search Console account, even before it's been verified. So it might take a little bit more time before the diagnostic and other data is available to see in the reports, because it has to gather it for a little while in order to make sense of it. That's normal. It can take about a week for that. Data collection continues as long as any user has the property in their account, whether or not it has a verified owner. So data is only retained, though, for a certain period of time. So it's usually deleted after about 90 days. And that's just because of privacy laws and so forth. Okay. So local SEO. Now, we've spoken a lot about how important it is for people to have websites that actually show up in order to respond to people's local searches. And we've spoken a lot about the fact that mobile phones are more given to giving search results that are a bit local to your area. So this is a cornerstone of this activity to get your business listed on directories such as Google My Business. Google My Business, as I mentioned, is free, and it's a brilliant way to get to appear. You'll probably have found that a lot of the local pizza shops that you found were in Google My Business. So local directories are always a great way for local businesses to connect with potential customers in their area. And these online listings include your key information like your business name, your address, and your telephone number. One of the best ways to connect with customers online is to get listed in these directories, and it also connects with Google Maps, which considers other factors like relevancy, distance, and prominence of the site or the shop in terms of how many people go there. Relevancy is how well a business listing matches the search. If your listing is detailed and up to date, then Google is more likely to show it for relevant searches if it is. Distance, just like it sounds, is how close it is, how close the business is to the searcher or to the area that the searcher specified. And prominence is gauged by how well known the business is, and based on information that Google can find across the web for how well linked it is. And this is what it looks like, which answers one of the questions that we had earlier on. If you're on a mobile phone, it will look like we can see 9 Northbrook Business Park, 3 Northbrook Road, Worthing. That shows a map, and you can click on it. It says that it's closed, but it says it's open from 9 a.m. on Monday. So the search has been done on a Sunday. And then it's got a menu, and you can get more information. On a tablet or a desktop, it will bring you into Google Maps, and this is a Google Maps review that we can see here. And that shows all the information for the listing down the left, and it shows a bigger map here. Oops. So there's 4 steps we need to complete in order to actually get one of these things set up, okay? First of all, you've got to download the Google My Business app and then just sign in. All you need to do that is to go to business.google.com. Next, you add or select your business. You might find it's already there, but it's not been claimed yet, because these things can automatically appear. So you just claim it, and then you enter your information. And once you've entered your information, it's going to ask you for your address or for your phone number, and then it will send you a verification link. The verification link can arrive at your physical address via postcard, and then that link, you just go back into the Google app and you add in that link, and that's it. It's verified. Then you'll find that all of the things that we were talking about here in terms of reviews, in terms of information, we'll go into a bit more detail in this one, will appear, and people are far more likely to come to your site or your shop. So can I have a show of hands effectively from you guys, if you can say yes or no, who has already claimed their Google My Business listing and has a local business? Let me know. I'm going to keep moving, but I'd like to hear your answers here. I'd also like to hear who hasn't. So what you need to do in order to show that that you're active, because as we mentioned before, you're more likely to get shown for these if you're active, is by regularly updating your content. See, customers are searching locally for businesses every month, and every month Google helps to drive more than 100 billion visits to business websites via this, more than 700 million phone calls, and more than 2 billion direction requests. So that's a lot of people. To qualify for that business listing, a business must meet with customers face to face. It doesn't really work for online shopping or that kind of thing unless you have a physical premises. So they need to be able to see you or meet with you at a store, or even within a specified local service area. So you could have a delivery service if it's within a local area rather than globally. It's important that a business's information appears correctly when people search online. So to be visible in Google local search and maps listings, Google considers lots of factors like relevancy, as I mentioned, distance, prominence, all mentioned before. And again, relevancy is all about how well your business listing matches the search. But what you should try to do is add in things like as much information about your business, its location and so forth as possible. Add photos of your business, add photos of yourself or your team, because people just psychologically buy from people. They're more likely to buy from sites where they can see who they're buying from. You can add a virtual tour, and that just means that you can actually there's a system in the Google My Business app that you bring up your phone and you can move it around and take panoramic shots of the different parts of the inside of your business, which join together to form a virtual tour. And then people on their mobile phone can visit your business and look around. That sense of familiarity with your business is far more likely to means that they're far more likely to then physically visit it. Statistically, this has been proven again and again. Always respond to your reviews, whether they're good or bad. If they're good, then publicly just go, thank you very much for your review. If they're bad, then say, I'm sorry to hear that, and give them your personal details or your business details to try to resolve the situation out of the public eye. So something like an email address. And that way you can address the issue that they've had, make them feel heard, make them feel dealt with in a positive way, and then ask them for another review once you're happy that they're happy. That's how you can turn a seemingly negative experience into a really positive one, a negative review into a positive review. It tends to be that once people have felt heard and had their issue resolved, they tend to be more positive and more likely to recommend you than somebody who had a good experience in the first place. So it's a really good way to do it. Now, search engine marketing or search engine advertising is where advertisers pay, but they only pay when a user clicks on an ad. You don't have to pay to appear, you only pay per click. And that means that you're far more likely to get a result from that click. So therefore your money's better spent. You could spend thousands of pounds on a billboard advertisement by the side of a road and not get a single inquiry out of it. Whereas with this, you're at least going to get a visit to your website. And if that website is good and converts well and has the right kind of content, then you're more likely to get a sale. So advertisers in this case bid on keywords that are relevant to their target audience. Ads appear in the search engine results pages near the top, as we are going to show you in a second. So this is where the search ads appear at the top. Okay. Now, Google Ads is Google's advertising platform. Bing has one as well. Yahoo has one. A lot of people do. It allows you to create search display and YouTube ad campaigns, which I'll explain in a minute. As with most online advertising channels, Google decides which ads are shown in which positions based on an auction. Up to 7 ad slots are available across all the search engine results pages. The top 4 tend to be the most competitive, as this is where most users click. It's not just about how much money you pay for your bids, though. Your site has to be well optimized organically. It has to have relevant content. So if you're saying Italian food in your website, but it's not specifically a pizza website, but your search term that you're trying to compete for is pizza specifically, then you're probably going to have to pay more, or you're not going to get the same level of results as a website that only sells pizza. Okay, or at least you need to send them in the direction of a page of your Italian food site, which is only and specifically about pizza, because it's all about relevance. Because if it wasn't, then when people clicked on these paid ads, they would regularly get irrelevant results and they would stop clicking on them, which isn't obviously in anybody's interests, much less Google's. So that's why you need to keep it relevant. It'll save you money and it'll get you better results. So 3 steps to creating a search ad. Okay. First of all, create a campaign. This is what makes everything else happen. The campaign is a whole other topic in itself, but the process can be outlined like this. You choose your campaign name and type. You choose where, geographically, you want your ad to show. Try not to compete for the whole world. Try to compete for the areas that you know that your customers are in. Select your bidding strategy and your daily budget. And so you can limit that, and you can limit your overall budget so that you never go over budget. Okay, you can set your maximum budget and for the day and in total, so that if you only have £20 to spare, then that's all you'll ever pay. Then you find the keywords, and it's good to brainstorm keywords, ask your customers, use Google Trends, but the Google Keyword Tool, or the Keyword Planner tool, which is actually part of the system, will really show you the actual numbers of people searching for things, how competitive the terms are, how much they're going to cost you, and you can choose the ones that are relevant. The more specific, usually, the better, as long as there's sufficient volume. So conduct a bit of market research, ask those questions, look online at the Google Keyword Planner, create your ad copy based on the advert on the words that you've used, but also try to create ones that are easy to understand and really indicate what it is that you do and what people are going to get when they click on your link. So basically, the best way to do this is to understand what your customer really wants. Ask them, talk to them. Then use your keywords, but don't overstuff your copy with keywords. Try to keep it like normal English and experiment with copy. You can try doing an A/B testing. So do 2 adverts with the same keywords, but with different text, and see which ones work better. And then once you've done that for a week, then just use the one that works best. I'm just going to take a few questions from you now. Let's see. Okay, Tana said, what's the big difference between mobile and desktop? We've already had those ones. I've already read that. Okay, Elizabeth, you've asked, how would you start with Google Ads? Well, that hopefully will give you a kind of an indication. Who would you approach, or is there a DIY option? Yeah, the whole thing is DIY. It's for you to be able to do yourself. So try to do it yourself first, because you shouldn't need somebody else to help you with this. And there's plenty of videos, including ones that we've created, that you can find on our website, that will talk you through this process step by step. It's made to be as easy as possible. So you shouldn't necessarily need somebody to do your Google Ads copy for you. So Alexander has said, how do I know the current position of my site on Google for a particular keyword? Well, going back to Google, let's just go back to that page just quickly. It was... It was Google Search Console. And Google Search Console, if you install that on your website, that will actually tell you not only how many people are searching for your site, but what position you're in on average for the different keywords that people are searching for. If you have both Google Analytics and you have the Google Search Console, then it will actually, they link together, and you can then look at queries within your Google Analytics. We actually do a session specifically on Google Analytics, which will show you that in more detail. But Search Console is vital to getting that information, so you need to install that on your website. Camila said, any tips for high-performing ad copy content? Yes, being descriptive and giving people a call to action. Click here to learn more as a call to action. And it tends to be that ads that have a call to action, And it could be click here to buy this now, or click on this link to learn more. Those tend to have about a 5 times higher success rate than the ones that don't. You really need to lead people by the hand, tell them what you want them to do in order to get them to do it. Okay, getting a little bit low in time now, so I'm going to click on, but thank you for your questions. I hope that answers them okay. So how are we going to optimize your website for different devices? Well, a mobile-friendly site, as I've said before, people tend to start their searches on mobiles, okay? So a mobile-friendly site can bring you more site visitors. So give them a better experience, because that will help bring in more business. Mobile SEO includes the same factors you consider for standard websites in terms of content and the whole thing linking together well and not having broken pages or whatever. But what's crucial for mobile site optimization is performance and usability. Performance is how quickly the site loads. And this can be impacted by many things, such as overly large images or overly large file sizes. Again, your Search Console will tell you if there's any problems with that. And then you can fix them, because there are tools out there, free tools, which can shrink the size of your images so that they still look the same, but they don't take as long to load. And the same thing can be done with your files. Usability refers to a visitor's experience visiting your site. Now, generally speaking, if your site has a good mobile user experience, it'll be more likely to appear in mobile search results. So here's an example. Some video and content formats like Flash can't be viewed on mobiles. So if that's how your site is built, it's not really going to offer a great user experience, because it'll just be a big grey page with a broken link thing on it. Also, what I want you to think about is when you're on a desktop site, if you can see my cursor moving about on this page, right? You can click the active point of this cursor is the very point of it, which is a pixel by a pixel. So I can easily click on this dot here without any problems. However, on a mobile phone, your screen is smaller. It's portrait rather than landscape. Okay, so it's this way up, it's higher than it is wide. And your active point of contact is your finger, which is a lot bigger, or your thumb, a lot bigger than the point of a cursor. So therefore, you need to spread things out a bit more. Yeah, less is more. Go feng shui on this, minimalist, and allow people to be able to click on things without accidentally clicking on other things. Simple, but it makes a big difference. Now, more than 90% of people searching online want to find info related to their business. And a Google listing is the most important thing that people will see when they find a business in Google. So this is what we were looking at before, Google My Business. So we help small businesses everywhere to stand out and attract new customers in search and maps, as I said, for free. So you as a business owner can establish and complete your listing that we were looking at earlier with updated hours, photos, your website, and all sorts of other things. So that can make it really easy for the customers to call you just by clicking on the screen, to get directions to you, to learn more about your business with just one click from the Google listing. And as I say, it's free. So that's really going to help with your mobile performance. So let's look at a few more things that you can do to improve your online business listing. One, on the main dashboard of your online Google business listing, you look for a button labeled Manage Photos. From here, you can add images to help your business stand out across Google. Add as many images as you can, including your profile photo, your logo, photos of your business, photos of your team. Remember, people are important. Google My Business accepts images in all sorts of formats, but JPEG and PNG formats are the best. Your file formats can be anywhere between 10 kilobytes and 5 megabytes, but try to keep good quality, but not make it too big. Quality is important, so choose photos that are well lit, in focus, and large enough to see clearly. The recommended minimum dimensions of the image are 720 pixels wide by 720 pixels high, so square. Finally, your images should be real, so try and avoid things like stock art and generic art. Try to do images that are really of your business, okay? Because people want to see something authentic. There's another button on the dashboard labeled Add Virtual Tour, which, as I mentioned, gives people the ability to tour through 360s. Now, we encourage people to add opening hours, add photos, as I mentioned, and reply to your reviews, as I mentioned before. It's really important, positive or negative. Put up posts just as you would in social media, because that keeps your content relevant and up to date. So you can put up special offers and promotions at that point. That's going to help your listing appear. It's going to help people engage with you. And remember that you have analytics on here, or insights as we call them, which mean that you can see how many people are searching, where they're searching from, what kind of search terms they're using to find you, and what they're clicking on in order to find you, and even stuff about your reviews and how well they are. So again, look at your insights regularly, and that'll give you information you can use to help your general searches. I'm seeing that we don't have any other questions, which is good because we're just about to run out of time. So Remember, if you work for a small business or charity in the UK, you can get one-to-one mentoring from people like me and Glenn on any questions that you might want more detail on. Just sign up at g.co/UK mentoring. Glenn's going to also put the link back in there into the chat for you. And remember also that we're running many more Google Digital Garage webinars on all sorts of different subjects. So if you'd like to check out the schedule of webinars, have a look at that in the information in the description below. There's going to be different topics available all the time that you can watch. And if you'd like to carry on learning in your own time 24/7, have a look at the Google Digital Garage website, where you can find a whole host of online training courses that are video as well as written, and you can access them in any order 24/7. So that should really help you with any specific queries you might have. Finally, if you've got any feedback or questions on today's session, just contact us via the email address team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, which is also at the bottom of the page below. So thanks everyone for joining today. I look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session very soon.